Coming off a game where once again we saw this offense struggle to get going. Defense continues to play well, but we saw Bo Harold throw a pair of interceptions and he was constantly harassed while outside of the pocket, and we plan to change that after a 21-10 loss to the Saints. Now, the talk of the town has been around Bo Harold. Is he the guy for this team or not? Even the media coming at us, asking us, what is up? Is it the team? Is it Bo Harold? And obviously we've made changes to the team. We need to see some play from Bo Harold. So he needs to get us 3 passing touchdowns today. If he could do that and limit his mistakes, meaning no turnovers, fumbles, or interceptions, and just complete some simple passes on all levels of the field, meaning completing 2 wide open receivers if they're even 25 plus yards down the field. Obviously, we know he struggles with the deep passing accuracy. His best is short. He's okay medium, struggles a little bit deep. Now, we don't have necessarily a deep threat receiver, so how often we go deep? Probably not all too often. But we need to see him step up, and we're going to change how we are running the play action, because we do a lot of play action, and we have been kind of scrambling outside the pocket. Now, in the last game, if I'm remembering correctly, and I am, it said we gave up 3 sacks, 1 for Dickinson, 2 for Avila. Now, I've been keeping track of my own offensive stats because I didn't trust Madden was doing it properly. So where I believe these 3 sacks came from was actually on us scrambling outside of the pocket, and at that point the offensive line has to let go, otherwise we're gonna have a holding call, and that's where these sacks came in. Now, in my own stat sheet collection, the sack that I had recorded from the last game was with Smith, and that was on a true, just got beat around the edge. He kind of, I don't know if he thought that we were going to get a block from the tight end there, but he let the guy go around. Now, Smith didn't record a sack in this game, so I do not trust that Madden is properly recording these. And that had led me to believe that the offensive line didn't play very well last game, but after going through all the film, aka editing the video, I really don't think it was the offensive line who was playing all too poorly. I think it was us misusing the rollouts to the outside. We need to stick more in the pocket, and with that, have some better blocking, and hopefully Bo Harold can complete some passes. So we're going to test that out today against an 81 level defense, though Will Anderson Jr., a superstar, though only 1 sack. So hopefully that's good for us, and we'll see Bo Harold take that step forward using his blockers a bit more. Though as we get week 4 underway with that boot from Brown, it will be defense up first. So we'll see if they can continue to, play really well, as we're struggling to actually get the tackle here on the return. Though a good stop in terms of yardage at the 22 for Tua Tagovailoa to head out with the Texans offense. If you were not here for the last offseason, we tried to go after Tua, but just too much money coming in as a big hit there from Graham, though giving up a lot of yardage. Tank Dell starts us off with a gain of 20, but we were going after Tua. Texans came in with a whole lot of money, and obviously Tua went there. Now, he hasn't had the best start to the season. Through 3 games, only 3 touchdowns. But with only 1 interception among those, it's a much better touchdown to interception ratio than they had, as it's actually going to go with a quarterback draw. Great stop from Smith, who, if you weren't here last game, he got his dev boost back up to a star. But as I was trying to say, once again, as we're going to make an audible here, don't like the coverages in terms of who we had blitzing versus where they had guys lining up. And there's a good stop coming in from Curse. Defense should be getting off the field here. But that does lead us into a good transition into our quarterback, Bo Harold, as we almost traded for Stroud, but Stroud and Harold have both had really bad touchdown to turnover ratios. Stroud, honestly, about a 1-to-1, maybe slightly higher than 1-to-1. And Harold last year was in the negative department there, though this year, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So potentially a little bit better as the pass rush goes straight through that time. That might be a sack recorded for our left tackle in Dickinson. And that was a rollout that we tried to stay in the pocket, did not help us out. So we'll play with that as the season goes along. As we have a 3rd and 11 here, need to find some space for a first down. Parkinson across the middle with a nice spinning catch right in front of the safety for the first down. And he is getting the start today. Our normal starter and Tommy Tremble had a PCL sprain in practice. We'll stick with a spread look here, try to get Akers to the outside, though probably should have just went for the first there. But to wrap up, because we kind of got away with it, where we started talking in this game is, Tua, new quarterback for the Texans. Stroud has not had a great start to his career. Neither has Bo Harold, and those are really our only 2 options. And we're going to keep it with Harold for now. Though a trade could be possible before the deadline, as it actually doesn't take a whole lot to trade for Stroud. Basically based off how bad he's been at the start of his career. It's a very similar dilemma to what we have here with Bo Harold. Though with the adjustments we've made to the sliders, we're seeing a little bit more of some accurate balls. As we do find Parkinson, it's a little bit behind him, but it's still catches him in stride. And we're down to the 15. And from here, we're going to send Jarrett in motion, the rookie. Fake the handoff to both him and Akers. Tried to get rid of that to Akers, though not enough time to get it out cleanly. And that's really been where a lot of our problems have been, is we don't have a lot of time to get these throws off cleanly, and we're not getting good accuracies because of it. As Akers bursts through the middle, picking up 7, much more manageable 3rd. Though it will be against a stacked front here as they come out with the double A gap look. Looking for a couple quick throws. Gonna have Nacua, and it gets picked. What a play by Petrie. Not entirely on Bo Harold, though. Placed that where just Nacua could get it, but he didn't react in time. Feels very reminiscent of the real-life interception Kirk Cousins had on the game-losing interception. I can't quite remember who it was that they were playing against, where they tried to apparently not get a tackle there, or there. Thank you, Curse, for finally getting the stop. Kirk was trying to find Hawkinson, and it went off his hands and then got picked. Very similar there. Forced it into the spot where only his receiver could get it. Unfortunately, receiver just didn't play it very well. As Curse is flying around to start this game, a lot of tackles racking up already. And I believe we're 1, maybe 2 games away from getting back Luke Peak. Though Turner, at the DT spot, has played decently well in the running game. Not a whole lot in terms of rushing the passer from much of the defensive line. But occasionally, we will find a sack. Obviously, we had a few last week as Smith did get his development boost. The week prior to that, only 1, and it was Smith on the very last play. Free rusher, but nothing. Conley dives and gets the quick tackle as Lloyd Cushenberry a bit shaken up for the Texans. He'll head off the field. Looked like it might have been some form of a shoulder, maybe forearm injury, as Pierce trying to find a gap and actually picks up a decent chunk, mark it 8. As he also finds the end of the first quarter. So we should be up. If we're being honest, we should be up right now, at least a field goal. But we had the interception with Nacua not really realizing the ball was out. Again, I feel like it was a good spot there by Harold. I'm not trying to stick up for a bad quarterback. I do think it was actually just a good spot, as that was also a nice throw to the outside, finding Schultz down to the 23. Now, I do feel like we need to start focusing in a little bit more on this defensive line, because they're not getting a consistent pass rush, and we have some decent depth, as there's the first pick from the rookie Conley. We did not expect to draft him. He was not high up on our board. He was just sitting there, and we took him, and it forced us to put him in the starting lineup. And following some terrific man coverage, he makes his first interception. Offense can head back out. We're going to try to follow some good blocks up front here. Akers bounces through a couple men, and we'll pick up the first down up to the 28. So far, both offenses have put together good drives. This, unfortunately, they end in turnovers, though for us, pretty fortunately. As we dump that one off for Jarrett, he can't squeeze it, and on top of it, David Andrews a bit shaken up. We've had quite a few guys get shaken up along the offensive line. Primarily, it's been the right guard in Avila, though he's healthy right now, so Williams, who's been coming in for Avila, gonna have to come in and play left guard, as it wasn't a great choice there by Akers to go to the outside. Should have stuck to the end. We at least have a manageable third down, and we already do see David Andrews back out there. It's a shoulder strain. We'll see how much that affects him throughout the remainder of this game, as it's the read option. Harold squeezes out the first. He is not a fast quarterback by any means, but he gets the job done there. And we'll go back to some play action. Let me make sure we pick up our blocks. Go back to the opposite side, and we'll find Charles for a loss of 1. And I'm pretty sure on top of that, Harold also took a shot there. Need to keep him clean and healthy. He will get frazzled throughout a game if he keeps taking hits. As we have wide open running lanes here, Gibson gets the stiff arm, bouncing off a couple more, but couldn't quite keep his feet. But a heck of a run to the 42. I do feel like he's been a pretty solid number 2 for us, a little bit more consistent than what we were seeing with our previous backup. So that is all good, as we are going to try to roll out here across the middle, lofted up. Jarrett not going to hold on to that one. Left him out to dry pretty much. We definitely don't want to be beaten up on the rookies. He'll actually head off the field following that hit. Marshall over to the right-hand side as we go with a counter play, though not blocked as cleanly. 3rd and 10. Now, I would really love to get Nakua going a little bit more. He's been pretty solid on the crossing pattern, so let's try to get him there on 3rd and long here, or swinging it to the outside instead. Parkinson opens spaces and gets the first down yet again. After moving on from Tanyan last year, we didn't quite feel like Parkinson was that guy for us. We brought in Tommy Tremble, though, filling in for Trimble. Tommy doing pretty good. As we're going to go one-on-one here, Marshall to the end zone, knocked away. However, there is a flag down. And we'll be getting the ball down at the 1, as they say DPI on Murphy. Well, we'll take it, as we're going to go back to that quarterback read option, and Bo Harold will scamper into the end zone. I actually don't quite remember if that counts towards the touchdowns he needed. Either way, for us, it does, as it puts us on the board and takes the lead. And for anyone who placed bets to have Bo Harold be the first player to run for a touchdown in this game, they probably just hit big. As Tua and the Texans are out, they go with a fake jet sweep. Pierce down the middle, shucks off the first tackler, I believe was potentially Curse, maybe Swain. Either way, picks up 5. Well, I will say he has not been great for my fantasy team this year, as it's 2nd and 5. With a trip set out to the left, Tua will go back to Pierce, and again, we fill the gap well, but that cutback has been killer for us this year, as he picks up the first to the 41. Now that cutback is where we need that second linebacker, potentially even Curse down as a box safety, but the defensive line has to get more involved in stopping the run rather than just picking up blocks essentially, as we do well on 1st down, just giving up 1. Though I do give this defensive line a lot of hard time about them not really getting stuck into the running game much. Yet we're one of the best run-stop teams, and give some credit to Graham, who got out there. Unfortunately, KJ Osborne, he's going to hit the deck. Looks like potential rib maybe injury. He'll head to the bench with some frustration. But it will lead to a great chance for us to get off the field here as they come out trips to the right, 2 to the left with an empty set. We will hit the 2-minute warning after this play. Tua doesn't know where to go, will throw it out. Great coverage downfield, and we'll get off the field. Now this is going to be a big drive for Harold. With 1:49 on the clock, you have 3 timeouts. You need at least some amount of points on this drive, as we'll start finally finding Nakua. He's going to cut up down the sideline, past midfield, and out at the 44. A quick start like that, plus getting out of bounds, fantastic. Allows us to be able to use the running game here in the remainder of the first half. As Akers bounces to the left-hand side, we'll just pick up 2. Running game has been a little bit hit or miss. We'll get a nice big chunk play and then a few not so much good plays. As we're going to swing this one out quickly here, get it out to Jarrett, who will scamper, get some yards, and out of bounds. Still sitting, though, with those 3 timeouts in our pocket. We're going to hit the left-hand side here. Gotta make sure we get a good block from Dickinson, and a good stop from the linebacker leaves 4th and inches. We could take the field goal here. We potentially lost out on some points late on in some games by not taking the 4th down punt or field goals. But if we keep getting these first downs, we're gonna keep going that way. We were one of the few teams last year, actually 100% on our 4th down conversions. I'd like to keep that going, as Parkinson going towards the corner might open up Palmer, depending on how these safeties react. As they cut in towards the middle, we're actually going to dump this one to the outside. Going to find Anchors, who will get close to the first. A late hit there from Petrie, but no flag. Trying to do as much as we can to change up the looks, move some guys around. Now have Jarrett on the right inside slot. Would like his route to find some space here. Let's actually cover it pretty well, and that's going to be a sack given up by Andrews, leaving 3rd and 6. We'll call a timeout here. You can tell Harold really trying to focus on that pocket awareness today, and unfortunately, offensive line, I feel like now is definitely not having their better game. As we're going to get Gibson to the outside here on the screen, and he's going to try to plow forward for the first, but we have another 4th and inches. But yet again, with 2 timeouts still in our pocket here, the Texans called one at the end of that last play. We need a millimeter. And we're going to give it to DeGuara, who's going to bounce a little bit to the outside. We'll pick up that first down. 2nd timeout call. We are trying to be aggressive today as we're going to go with some play action. And we're throwing it. It's the linebacker, Murray, who catches it for the touchdown. The backup tight end, Kenneth Murray Jr. makes the grab in the back corner. And just look at that toe drag. Who had that on any betting sheets? This team just trying all new different things to get this offense moving, and it's working so far with a 14-0 lead. Going into half, there's a good stop in the backfield, Nick Bell. We haven't seen the production of a 6th overall pick, but he's been mostly solid. Got to give him credit when he actually is making the plays. As we hit halftime after a pretty crazy first half there, we had Bo Harold, the one and only rushing touchdown, and then the receiving touchdown by the starting middle linebacker. Gotta love the chaos as we take a look around the league. Big matchup here for the division, as it's currently the Seahawks up 17-0 over the Cardinals. As for the next update, gonna jump to the opposite side of the country. Got the Bucks taking on the Falcons, as was a decent game here. 28-17, the 1-3 now Buccaneers give it a little bit of a run for the Falcons, who moved to 4-0. As for the last studio update, taking it a little bit up north, though still in division. In a close battle, the 49ers improved to 2-2 after a 28-21 win over the Lions. As we get stuck back into this game, as the boot is through. What more shenanigans do we have in store for us? As Williams trying to find some space down the middle, takes a couple shots there, and only gets up to the 22 for Bo Harold and this offense to head on out. Now, I don't want to jinx anything, but so far I do feel like Harold having a pretty good game. Then we're going to start trying to get back to the running game. However, that was read from the get-go, a loss of 4. That was really the first play we've seen Will Anderson make so far today. As it leaves 2nd and 14, we got a bunch out to the right-hand side. Parkinson alone to the left. Trying to find some space across the middle here, dump it off for Nakua, who also gets picked up and slammed down, picking up 5. And we'll need a little bit more than that on 3rd, as we have 3rd and 9 at the 23, sticking with that bunch look. Palmer going on the corner, got a couple underneath routes. Parkinson late across the middle. We have some options as we roll out here. Hesitation actually freezes the linebacker as Harold steps up, picks up the first. Feel like a little bit new confidence here showing by Harold. He's taken some shots, but at the same time being safe about them. As we dump this one off, Parkinson gonna pick up the first down and a good little bit more to about midfield. And what I'm really liking from Harold today is he's not, outside of a couple plays, doing anything really risky. He's taking whatever the Texans are giving us. Gibson also having a pretty decent game, breaking a few tackles as he picks up 3. And on 2nd and 7, let's go back to the play action, though. Something we haven't done in a little while. Send that fullback deep. Let's see if we can find DeGuara, well, deep downfield. Though Anderson gets around the edge. Smart play to throw it away. So on 3rd and 7, we'll head out with a tight single back set, and they have a double A-gap blitz lined up here for us. Charles leaking out to the left might be a good option. Otherwise, Jarrett on a crossing pattern are going to be our primary reads. And we had some time to throw, but Harold decides to clutch it, take the sack from Gross Matos, and it will be a stop by the Texans, and hopefully Harold is all right. He does get up, but he's feeling it. And that's why we need to do a much better job at keeping him clean. We have Cousins behind him, but don't really want to have to lean on the veteran. As Pierce down the middle, not going to escape, though he fights forward to pick up 3 on what should have been a stop for nothing. That's going to be a little bit of the, let's say, lack of strength, but not super strength by Graham. More of the agile, quick linebacker with a quick throw outside. A late hit for sure by Rice, though luckily for us, no flag. Though that catch is a good sign for the Texans, it was KJ Osborne who left the game earlier with an injury. Leaves us with 3rd and 1 as they go Pierce's way, and patient running finds the gap and the first. Once again, need to see one of the defensive linemen really make the big plays there, especially on those short down and distances. We don't really get much of a push often. We eat up blocks, but eventually they're going to find a gap. Good stop on 1st down. And one player to shout out in that instance, not on the field now as we switch to the nickel, but the rookie linebacker in Solomon has actually been really good in the running game. Like to give him some props as a drop on the outside by Schultz. Unusual for him. Well, that leaves him with a 3rd and 9. As we're going to send Solomon off the edge here, try to get a little bit of some extra pressure as they have a little bit of some play action loading up to go deep. Rice with another interception, and he steps out of bounds. He had the first of his career. I'm pretty sure it was either last game or the game before. And now he's doubled that total. And for Tua, he came into this game 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and that's at least 3 and 3 now, if not even 3 and 4. Honestly, I can't quite remember how many interceptions we've had today. As Palmer coming across, here's gonna be another interception. Just a great play by Murphy. Wasn't a well-thrown ball. Needed that to be down. Instead, it was a little bit up, and will be the 2nd INT on Harold. That one was the bad throw. So we trade some interceptions, and the Texans, I think, essentially back out exactly where they were as they go with a jet sweep, and a really good play by Osborne, breaks some tackles, and he fumbles at the very end. Big hit from Murphy, but they'll keep possession. Honestly, not sure who had him wrapped up at the line, but whoever it was needs to do better at securing that. It should not have been as big of a gain as it was as they go Schultz here. Bounces off one, takes a couple hits, and out of bounds at the 26. And then from there, they change it up entirely, coming out in a 3 tight end set. I feel like that's the first time they've done that today, with a quick throw to the outside, and just tremendous strength there. Pulled Rice down for the first. That one goes to Keenan Allen with the first. Another guy who we did try to bring in, I want to say it was after the first offseason. Potentially it was even after this last offseason. Clearly he chose not to come here and play with Tua. But on 2nd and 8, we're going to come out with our own double A gap look. Try to get some pass rush going here, or try to stop the run. Bonito slows them down, and we clean it up with the rookie in Swain. And he's had himself a fairly decent start to his career. He's had a couple plays here and there where he gave up some things that probably shouldn't have, but overall it has not been too bad. As some pass rush forces the quarterback to scramble. Rice does not secure the tackle, and Tua scrambles for the first down to send us into the 4th quarter. I want to say this is their first time inside the 10, and they need some points here. Their last good drive ended with an interception by Conley, who's not on the field currently, as it's a single back set with 2 tight receivers. Looking for another throw. Tua to the outside, finds his man, but short of the goal line. And this is where we need to see a push from that front 7. Give us something. Try to get a quick stop as they go Pierce down the middle, who plows through 3 defenders and gets the Texans on the board early on here in the 4th quarter, making it a 1-score game. The D-line has got to do better there, and the defense in general has to do better at securing those tackles. Again, 3 guys were on them, and now it's going to come down to this offense to make the big plays and potentially even start draining some clock as we start with a gain of 2. Though still trying to change up some looks a little bit here. We have Parkinson's in the backfield with the split back set. Going to go Akers' way, but didn't even make it back to the line before getting dragged down from behind. 3rd and 10. Duval slices through the line there to get the stop. We'll stick with the same look, have a couple outside options, a couple middle options as well. See what opens up here for us, as we're going to dump this one off for Akers, and it was close enough. He should have been able to get a hand on it, but no, we're going to have a 3 and out instead. And this is where we're going to have to really rely on this defense to come up big here for us, as they've done so well all game, only have given up 1 touchdown, but considering the offense has only scored twice, puts us in a precarious situation. As they'll start with some passes across the middle, as they go Tank Dell, haven't gone his way since the first play. He picks up a first. I also feel like we might need to sub out some of these defensive linemen to try to spark something, get some pass rush going, as they will go with a pass here across the middle, and we'll find Keenan Allen. So on this play, we're going to bring out Lawson over on this right end spot, even though he's on the left side of your screen. Try to see if he can provide a little bit of some pass rush as well. As they go across the middle, good timed hit there by Murray Jr. A little bit of payback from that touchdown. Just need 1 more of those stops as they come out with a trip set off to that left-hand side. Tight end Schultz to the right. They're also going to send out, well, they're going to send out a quick throw for a first down to KJ Osborne. I was trying to say they were sending out Pierce on a route, but the throw came out quicker than I could even say that. As it's a 1st and 10 in plus territory here, they're going to motion over the tight end to the left-hand side. Let's slide the offensive line that way as well. Try to get something, but no, Pierce almost got away there. Potential touchdown-saving tackle by Swain. You could definitely tell they're carrying the momentum here. We're going to need to force a big play. Big hit, turnover, something. As we do get a quick pass rush, Bonito, no, Adebo somehow gets mossed by Keenan Allen, was sitting in perfect coverage. And he just got the ball ripped away from him. Seems like Madden is in its shenanigan mode here. As they go down the middle, finds a little bit of a gap, stopped at the 2. Once again, needing the defensive line to come up big. Hard count, no 1 jumps. They go with the toss to the outside, and a tackle from behind by Graham. They brought in their backup running back, and it does not work out for them. 3rd and goal, double A gap. We send a quick blitz, but they find KJ Osborne, as the Texans storm back here to level up this game. But with 2 minutes, 26 seconds, plenty of time to find some points. As once again, we're going to start with the run. Try to get to the outside, though just fantastic pursuit there. 57 gets the stop at the line. And as the 2-minute warning hits, we got to switch up here. We've tried to go the running route in this second half, and we haven't been able to move the ball well. Let's try to get the ball through the air. Maybe pick up a single block there on 43 with 2 offensive linemen in front of him. Maybe. Instead, it's a 3rd and 10. Not moving the ball forward much. We're just letting clock roll, and at this point, it might be contradictory to what we're trying to do. As we get that ball out a little bit late, pressure came in. 4th and 10, 122. You have to punt here. Offense has just been completely flat this second half. The defense only giving up 14 points. I mean, they've done pretty well. They've just been put in bad spot after bad spot, as now Keenan Allen shaken up will call one of their timeouts. And an unfortunate thing for them, but fortunate for us, as it takes out their best receiver. 2nd and 5, just over a minute left here. As they throw it, caught KJ. We really need the pass rush to show up here. We can't let Tua just play pitch and catch as they make a check. Gonna have 3 off to the right now, 1 to the left. Pass rush, a little bit from the middle, though they're gonna still get the ball out. Big hit, not much of a gain. They need to get to the 35 for a field goal. They'll only have 39 seconds, 1 timeout remaining as they use their second right after that last play. And they're down to about the 45. KJ once again. Defense is struggling right now. Texans have built up a lot of momentum. It's all on them right now with a throw to the outside. That's going to get them inside the 35. As time is ticking down here, 5 seconds left, they called that timeout. Sitting at the edge of his range, Gray for the game winner. It's up and right down the middle. There's 2 seconds left on the clock, and it'll come down to a Hail Mary attempt. Bo Harold with 92 throw power. And we're going to send everyone downfield. We don't have a lot of speed, so we're going to need the offensive line to hold up long enough to allow us to chuck this one deep. And it's up to a gigantic pile of players and knocked down. After being up 14-0 at half with all the momentum. Offense came out as flat as could be in the second half. Texans put on a great fourth quarter, and they take the game 17-14. It was one of the better days we've seen from Bo Harold, completing 14 of his 23, but only 166 yards. 60% completion is actually pretty good for him, but the turnovers hurt. He had one passing touchdown. He also had a rushing touchdown. However, Akers couldn't quite get going. The blocking wasn't very solid. Wasn't that great for him. It didn't quite open up. And I have a feeling there might be a move we need to make at left tackle. So in that second half, we cost ourselves the game. And we tried to get the running game going, and it cost us, I feel like, in the long run. Because we would get maybe 1 or 2 yards or no yards, or then we might even lose some yards the second time, or the second attempt. And I don't think Dickinson is getting the job done. He's not a very well-polished run blocker. Some of those grades are regressing even. His run block power is only a 67, finesse 72. He doesn't have good lead block. That is a 70. So I have a feeling we might need to make a switch here at left tackle. Now, where we go kind of can change a little bit. We have an option here in David Williams as one of our backups. Now, I don't believe he's very much favoring one side or the other. He's just a pure finesse guy. Now, we're going to take a step back in the pass blocking, though you're going to have a little bit of an increase in some of the run blocking. Another option is another rookie in Calvin Hobart, who has gotten some play time, but not a whole lot. And he's very similar to Williams, though maybe just a little bit of a step back from him, but does have some really good lead block. Now, another thing we could do is actually switch Tyron Smith over to that left tackle spot, see if that helps out. He's very well balanced. Or what we might have to do is even just primarily run the ball to the right side of the line and not much to the left. Avila is okay. He has the good run block power. Finesse is okay. The pure run blocking rating isn't fantastic, but he has some lead blocking and good impact. So there's some more to play with there than I feel like what we have over on the left-hand side, where the only good run blocking we have is coming from David Andrews, who was a little bit hit or miss from this game due to some injury, but the run blocking is good, which is why we put him at left guard, hoping that would kind of pick up the slack from Dickinson, but we're not quite seeing that. So I'll go through the film, the tape, aka editing this video, get the stats once again, see what we're looking at, might focus a little bit more on some of the run plays too, and just see, even add that to the stat sheet. Obviously it's not going to be for the full season, but just see who's giving up the run stops and maybe try to make some moves from there. I do feel like Dickinson is the weak link on this offensive line so far. We have options. You guys let me know. Do you want to see Williams? Do you want to see Hobart? Even Hobart could start at center, and then McAllister potentially could bounce around a little bit. He's another fairly balanced guy, more towards the finesse, but at least both the power rankings are above 70. So there's that. We have options. Let me know what your thoughts are. The other possibility of something we could do here before the trade deadline, as I just want to check the injury report here. As yeah, in this next matchup against the Cardinals, we will be getting back Luke Peek. And that is going to give us at least a good jump in overall for the DTs, as Turner is a 72, Luke Peek is a 77. Now when it comes to strength, our strongest is going to be Nick Bell, and he's gotten some plays in the running game. His block shedding is at an 80. Peek is at an 85, so we're going to get in a good boost, almost 10 overall higher there compared to Kobe Turner. So I don't want to pull any triggers yet, but potentially we might need to try to find ourselves a trade at DT. We are also looking towards the draft to see if there's anyone at DT that we really want to go after. However, we're very much early on in the process. Not much of, I think the highest overall completion we're going to have at this point are going to be 45. Though there's at least a run stopper here in Joey Wembley in the round 2 to 3. Though the block shedding is a C, I'm looking for at minimum a B. I would love an A. We have at least a good pass rusher in Josh Trejo, who does have the A power moves, but block shedding is a C. We need someone who could stop the run down the middle, and we haven't quite found that guy. We could also potentially look over at the left and right end, see if there's a big boy who's just not at the right position, though as I jumped away from that last screen, thought I saw, yeah, down here, Randall Billingsley, still around 1 to 2, and we're a good bit down the line here at 6. But A power moves, that's at least good to see. Have another A here in finesse moves. So should be some good defensive linemen in this next draft class, and we might need to go that way because the guys we have right now are very hot and cold, and that's something that has cost us in this game. This game very much exemplifies that hot and cold. First half, phenomenal, right? We're making some big plays on offense. Defense shut out the opposition, but come the second half, that switch. We couldn't score any points. Defense did well in the third, but the fourth quarter we started to give up and ultimately lost the game. That one really sucks, though we at least have a breakout DB and even a tandem breakout on defense. I'm assuming it's probably going to be Rice and Conley, because obviously the rest of them didn't quite make much of plays. Curse made some tackles. Debo gave up a big play, should have been a pick, but Keenan Allen, enough said there. All in all, there were some good things. Need to see a whole lot more. Start scoring more points than 14 per game. Again, we were the worst scoring team last year. We can't have that again this year. So let's make improvements and move on to the Cardinals, who are also 1-3 right now. We're battling for the bottom of the division. So make sure you stick around. Do not miss. Hit that bell icon on the bottom right or scroll down, hit the actual subscription button so you subscribe to this channel. Definitely make sure you hit the bell icon as well so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday with the state-only challenge, currently the Central Plains in the playoffs, heading to the AFC? Yeah, I want to say AFC Conference Championship on Wednesday. So do not miss out. A whole lot more coming, and we will see you next time. Bye.